This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking a lot about Games Workshop and Fantasy Flight games, not Final Fantasy. I know it's so hard to, yeah, never mind. So, one of the things that I was thinking about, because I decided to take some time and really watch the Unfathomable, excuse me, I have a hard time saying that word, unboxing, which wasn't as bad as the scent video. It was kind of okay, and you know what I got from it was kind of a head scratcher. You know, I don't like being negative, you know, but when you see something that's a frog, it's basically a frog, okay? And yeah, I don't have a problem pointing that out. I'm really confused. You know, a lot of people have said since since Christian Peterson has left and a whole bunch of other people have left, that Fantasy Flight Games has lost its identity. Well, that could be true in many sense, and thank you all for the thousands of comments that you guys put out there and have written. But you know, when I take a look at this game that's coming out, which is a reskin of Battlestar Galactica, and you kind of scratch your head and you go, okay, that's the best that they can do? Okay, that's what they're putting out? Let's throw a Cthulhu theme on it and put that out? I just feel, in a more positive light, that they have something else up their sleeve. And they're usually really good at those type of things. Let's give them the credit that they deserve. Last year, at the In Flight, okay, which was tough for everybody because, you know, having to do it virtually, you know, at the very end, we were all hyped. We were all excited because at the very end, they kind of slipped them. They put that Descent box. Now, Descent, a whole different story, whole different thing. I understand. But at that moment, we were so excited because we didn't know enough about it, number one. Number two, and they always pull a surprise at the end flight. So, you know, they've already announced that they're going to do another expansion for Lord of the Rings, the miniature game there, which I'm excited about because I just started getting into this a bit and learning it, Journey into Middle Earth, and I've got the other expansion. I'm just almost done with painting, and I've painted the entire set, and it's something I want to bring here, as well as the third edition, and talk more about the second edition of Arkham Horror and the differences and so forth and so on. You know, so you know, there's still an interest there, but I have a feeling that at this In Flight this year, because we're coming up on it pretty quickly, that they've got a couple surprises for us. Because I just have a feeling that this is just one of those things that you know, that might be able to put them back on their feet. If they come out and they say, hey, we have an expansion for Outer Rim that's due out later this year, how many of you would be excited for that? Quite a few, I think. And if it was good and it added stuff, you know something, I think we'd be excited about Fantasy Flight again. Their In Flight this year may be their most important In Flight ever, because there's just, right now, there's so much, I don't want to say negativity, but disappointment. Okay? A lot of us still love Fantasy Flight, as much as we love Games Workshop and other companies that, we'll talk more about in the coming weeks as we get closer to Gen Con. Okay? There are so many things that we still love and that we remember, and that they have the possibility of really bringing back and breathing life if they just take their time and do the smart things. Now listen, everybody knows that it's been a very tough year and a half. Okay? And you got to give people some wiggle room. Okay? I give a lot of people a lot of wiggle room because of how tough things have been. And, some people have flourished through this, and some people have struggled. And you may see continual struggles. I was talking to a designer, a small company, who said, I had to put off bringing in a bunch of games because the containers cost so much. Where originally I was going to pay this, and now they want this, I'm better off waiting it out and doing the best I can to sell the product that I have still. I get that. And it just doesn't affect the small publisher, it affects the large publisher as well. And I think they're going through some real pains during this. Whether or not they are owned by Asmodee, they still have some choices that they can make themselves and have to be held accountable for their things. There are other companies that are owned by Asmodee that have flourished. And I think this transition of Fantasy Flight Games is, with all this turnover, trying to find their own identity. But I think, in the tradition that this company has been. Now, I've been to Gen Cons, for the last 6 years, that we've been running this channel. And every single time, now granted, it wasn't owned by Asmodee then, but that in-flight, they would have it, and then the next day at Gen Con, boy, those lines were all the way out the door. Whether they get the surprise of having, them having, 100 copies of TI4 there. Okay, what a surprise that was. And some of the other things that they announced and that you were just blown away by. I think, again, by bringing this Battlestar Galactica reskin, okay, and just kind of, it's almost kind of jab, 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 here comes the soup bone. Boom. And then they knock you out with something. Could it be Outer Rim expansion? Could it be something, along the line of Star Wars, really, really breathing life into something? Or could it be a major disappointment? I don't know. I want to think positive that I think, when they promised a while ago that they were going to do the Outer Rim expansion, which we all enjoyed Outer Rim, that they would follow through and add this expansion. I think it would really breathe a lot of confidence, a little more stability, and people being more positive when they think of Fantasy Flight. Remember, the in-flight always was one of the biggest moments of Gen Con each and every year. And granted, they're not going to be there, okay, or presence on the floor, but I guarantee you the in-flight could be very important. I think it is very important. I think if they ever listen to this right now, they don't realize how important it is to gain everybody back in confidence. Okay? And this in-flight report, if done as well as it could be, and maybe bringing out some things that we don't know about, that we'll get excited about, I really think that it'll help and make a big difference. And I like to think positively that they're holding a lot of stuff back for that. Because right now, everybody's kind of like, wow, Legends of the Dark. Even though, I'm still going to bring that game in here and lay it on the table and make a decision for myself and try to bring my version of it to you guys so you guys can make a final decision. Because those weren't professionals. It wasn't Rodney Smith up there. It wasn't Tom Vassell up there, okay, doing that playthrough. Okay, so let's give them some wiggle room. They're not people that go in front of the camera. But what was done was done so, I don't want to say poorly as much as I want to say it was such a disappointment and hard to follow because they weren't professionals. Okay, it wasn't Chaz Marler up there. And you know, having those type of people present that game does make a huge difference because of how well that they do it. And then when you bring in people that don't do this all the time, it really makes it tough. So you know, there's still hope for that game. And as far as Unfathomable, you know, that one, you kind of go, okay, if you are a Cthulhu buff, this is a great moment. But, you know, and mostly everybody is, let's be honest. But, you know, it is kind of, you know, it's kind of lazy effort when it's just a reskin of Battlestar Galactica. Which, give us Battlestar Galactica. Even though the show's been gone for a while, I can see reskinning it to something that is more enduring and that will last longer. It makes complete sense, doesn't it? So, you know, I really am looking forward and really hoping that we do get that Outer Rim expansion, as well as maybe some other surprises that they may have up their sleeve. You never know. I mean, we're never going to get that Forbidden Stars expansion that was supposed to be fantastic. And I was looking forward to, because adding more to that game would have just been glorious. I still have mine. I'll never let it go because I really think it's a fantastic game. Let's see what happens. Let's stay hopeful. Let's stay positive. Okay? It doesn't always have to be negative. Okay? We can be positive and hope. And then if things don't go well, we'll point them out. There's no doubt about it. We won't hold back in pointing things out. But we should also point out the good things too. Even though it's not as popular on YouTube or anything like that, or Twitter or whatever. Okay? Sometimes being positive, positive vibes bring positive moments. So let's hope. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. Let's hope. Let's stay positive. Let's see what happens. We'll see you soon, folks.